Thank you, Chair. I have two questions. The first is of the Minister. Could this bill be used to discriminate against arrivals who have chosen not to receive injections related to COVID-19 measures? And as part of that, does this bill allow travel documents to include information based on vaccine status?
Minister. Senator Watt.
I'm just seeking some further advice on that, Senator Roberts, but I'm certainly not aware of any intention to use these powers in that way, or even whether the powers could be used that way. I know that there were some concerns raised by a couple of the parliamentary committees about how these powers might be used and the risk of discrimination that might be posed, and we were certainly, I think, able to persuade those committees that there would be no such ability to discriminate. You may have seen, Senator Roberts, that one of the things this bill is doing is providing biosecurity officers with increased powers, for instance, to seek passports from people, but that's really about trying to check where they've been and whether they're repeat offenders when it comes to biosecurity risks, rather than checking in on people because of their particular racial background, their COVID vaccination background or anything like that. It's more about, as I say, allowing biosecurity officers to trace when people have been to very high-risk locations, or if they have if they're repeat offenders with biosecurity, in which case I'm sure you'd agree they're the people that we need to be really focusing our biosecurity office efforts on.
Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Chair. Minister, have you received that advice yet about my specific question?
Minister.
Well, the proposed amendments are intended to ensure that the data collected in relation to biosecurity interventions with all incoming travellers can be consistently recorded and analysed to support a more intelligence and evidence-based approach to predicting and managing the biosecurity risk posed by future traveller cohorts. As such, the requirement to provide a passport or other travel document to a biosecurity officer upon request would apply to all persons, regardless of their ethnicity, their national or social origin, or their vaccination status. So the powers that are being granted here cannot be or are not intended to be used to go after particular people based on any characteristic about them. They can be applied to all people, regardless of their vaccination status, regardless of their ethnicity or anything like that. So I think you can be confident that your concerns would not be carried out as a result of these powers.
Senator Roberts.
So you said could and then hesitated. So that means they cannot be used. These powers cannot be used to discriminate against arrivals who have chosen not to receive injections for COVID-19.
Minister.
That's right. The powers cannot be used to discriminate against anyone for any reason, including their vaccination status.
Senator Roberts.
Yeah. My second question is, should there be time limits for the time which health information about an individual is retained?
Minister.
Yeah, this bill, in fact, Senator Roberts, this bill does not provide for the retention of data at all. So, that being the case, the concern that you have doesn't even arise. It's not a matter of, in relation, it can't be retained. Okay, sorry, just to clarify, there's nothing in the bill that allows data to be retained for health purposes. So the issue of how long data could be retained for health purposes doesn't arise because it can't be retained for that purpose at all.